Is your vehicle in need of a quick oil change or tune-up before hitting the road this summer? Stop by Quick Lube and Tune, the home of the good guys at 610 South Wenatchee Avenue.
It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCW Life Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our very dreary weather window today, where we're seeing a lot of low clouds around the Wenatchee Valley as we can just barely see parts of the valley and the Columbia River below. Some light misty rain and some light drizzle throughout the day today, and that will continue into tonight before we see a bit of a break on Thursday night and parts of Friday before an even bigger storm system moves in just in time for the weekend, and that could make for some very treacherous mountain pass travel. We could see 1 to 3 inches of more snow as we move into the weekend on Saturday and into Sunday, and we will talk much more about this storm system coming up a little bit later on in your weather forecast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A Coulee City woman is sentenced in the death of her infant son, and what could have turned into a very explosive situation results in only an arrest and a bit of luck for a local man. But first, we begin tonight. A Grant County judge sentenced a man to over 18 years in prison after the defendant pleads guilty to murdering Jill Sundberg of Quincy. 26-year-old Ambrosio Mendez Villanueva was charged along with 2 other men in the kidnapping and shooting death of Sundberg. 40-year-old Gustavo Tapia Rodriguez and 26-year-old Julio Cesar Albaron Verona faced trial in April. The 31-year-old victim's body was found December 22nd off the Old Vantage Highway. She'd been kidnapped from her mobile home and shot several times after a reported argument with the 3 defendants. All 3 of those defendants were in the country illegally, and Superior Court Judge John Hotchkiss said Mendez Villanueva would face deportation at the end of his sentence. A Coulee City woman has been sentenced after she pleaded guilty to transferring methamphetamine to her infant son through breast milk, resulting in the boy's death. NCW Life's Steve Hare has the story.
34-year-old Heather Chapman pleaded guilty in Grant County Superior Court to child endangerment with a controlled substance. Chapman was sentenced to 90 days in jail under a first-time offender waiver of a standard sentence. Now, the Grant County Sheriff's Office began investigating Chapman back in May of 2016 after her 1-month-old son went into cardiac arrest. The infant was pronounced dead at the hospital a few hours after he arrived. An autopsy later determined the boy's death to be accidental from acute methamphetamine intoxication. It was also reported that Chapman tested positive for meth and marijuana in a urine toxicology test when she was at the hospital to have the boy delivered. I'm Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Well, what could have turned into a very explosive situation results in only an arrest and a bit of luck for a local man. On Tuesday, Department of Corrections officers responded to a call of an explosive ordnance at a residence in the 300 block of North Chelan Avenue. Upon arrival, they found a grenade fuse. Wenatchee Police Captain Edgar Reinfeld explains how events unfolded after that.
Corrections staff went to contact a male subject, and he dropped this item during contact and tried to, state that it wasn't his, but they had clearly seen him drop it, so they recovered it, and it turned out to be a grenade fuse. So if you were to take a look at a hand grenade or a smoke grenade or one of our like a tear gas grenade like used for riot control, they all pretty much have the same fuse in the top that has the pin everybody thinks of, and a handle, the spoon that actually holds the fuse in the open position. When you pull the pin, release the handle, the fuse goes about its business, and there's a very small explosion that's basically a primer for whatever else happened. In this case, it was just the fuse. So the item was recovered, the male subject was contacted, and they returned to the DOC office where a pin was removed from the fuse and it exploded. And thankfully it's a very small explosion. Again, like I said before, it's a very small charge, and there were really just minor injuries, I think probably to somebody's hand from having the thing go off while they had it in their possession.
34-year-old John Kaminick of Rock Island was arrested on a gross misdemeanor explosives charge. Reinfeld says there are many old sheds, outbuildings, and homes all over the area that have old materials in them, and the Wenatchee Police Department respond to many calls regarding explosive materials each year. He says if you find a suspicious item that might be explosive, call Rivercom immediately at 663-9911. Electricity has been restored in the Bridgeport area following a weather-related outage last night. Douglas County PUD says about 700 customers lost service starting around 7 p.m. Crews found a distribution line down by heavy snow on Fairview Street. Power was fully restored by 11 p.m. Chelan County Commissioners sound off on U.S. immigration laws as Congress prepares to act on possible reforms. Doug England took off his commissioner hat to discuss the issue with NCW Life News in his capacity as manager of Manson Growers Co-op. England says he supports a program that allows foreign workers to temporarily reside and work in the U.S. until a next round of worker is readily available to switch. He contends that it could be a win-win for the employees and U.S. foreign financial aid.
When you look at it, the whole program, if it can be simplified and can be used, is about as effective a foreign aid tool as you could get. The money directly goes directly to the families in Mexico. It doesn't go through a government agency who then filters off their share, who determines who gets it, who does this and that. It goes to the families that need it. And most of the workers that we used that were here legally still sent the majority of their money back to Mexico.
Commissioners England and Keith Gaynor, who is a pear grower, discussed the immigration issue in their regular interview with NCW Life News. We have that interview coming up later on in our feature report. Coming up next, Grant County PUD customers will reportedly pay more for electrical services beginning on April 1st, and a change in the way police officers are trained and educated may be on the horizon. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Evening News.
Antique Mall at Cashmere wishes you a happy and prosperous new year. With 15,000 square feet to explore, Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone. For repurposing projects, do-it-yourselfers, and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, this is the place to find your next project. Antique Mall at Cashmere, their friendly staff is here to help you. Stop on by today.
My name's Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do the job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
Welcome back. In other news, Grant County PUD customers will reportedly pay more for electrical services under a rate increase that goes into effect in April. Residential customers will receive an average 1.5% rate increase, which translates into an average hike of about $1.49 per month. The PUD says the actual increase will depend on the customer's electrical use. For some customers, it will be higher. For other customers, it will be lower. Rate increases are also in the works for industrial customers too. Comments can be submitted at the utilities website, and a public hearing has been set up for the February 13th PUD Commission meeting. A change in the way police officers are trained and educated may be on the horizon. Supporters of Initiative 940, which would require additional police training and improve accountability in fatal police shootings, celebrated certification of the measure yesterday after verification of more than 350,000 petition signatures submitted to the Secretary of State. With certification, the initiative will now go to the state legislature for consideration. The House and Senate can either pass pass the initiative, propose an alternative policy, or take no action, which would then result in I-940 moving on to the November ballot. Supporters, including a broad coalition of directly impacted families and social justice, civil liberties, community, labor, and law enforcement reform advocates, understand that legislative action seems unlikely in a short legislative session with a heavy agenda and are preparing for an electoral campaign. Beginning this Friday, the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society will begin hosting a monthly public animal food bank for those needing public assistance with dog or cat food. NCW Life's Jay Seebeck has more.
In the past, qualified recipients were given free food once a year, but now income-qualified pet owners can receive pet food on a more regular basis as needed. Dawn Davies, Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, says the Humane Society was able to provide this new service because of a recent partnership.
I think it's one of the best kept secrets in Wenatchee that we have a food bank here that is available for pet owners who are having a difficult time. Maybe they just need a little help to get through, especially in these winter months or what have you. But it's just kind of been a quiet thing. And we recently partnered with Hill's Science Diet to start doing a food program where we're feeding only a certain brand of food to our shelter animals. And so what that does is it opens up a lot of the other donated food that we've had and opens up our food bank for more distribution.
To receive food, pet owners must be income qualified, which means they need to bring ID and income verification, which includes a pay stub, SNAP benefits, or Social Security paperwork or card. The food bank will be held at the shelter, located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue in Wenatchee. Distribution will be held at the Education Room and will begin at 11 a.m. until the available supplies last, or 6 p.m., whichever comes first. No reservations will be taken, and food is limited to one distribution per household. I'm Jay Seebeck, NCW Life News.
Thank you, Jay. You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
Is this really what we're going to do on our girls' night out? We should go to Club Crow.
The Bar and Grill in Cashmere?
Yeah, let's go.
Looking for a fun-filled, friendly hometown atmosphere? Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is the place to be. Hi, this is Justin. Here at Club Crow, we have a full bar and restaurant, live music, a dance floor, pool tables, pull tabs, and live jam sessions the first Sunday of every month. Club Crow in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
Hey, this is Justin at Club Crow Bar and Grill reminding you it's your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Jam sessions and live bands playing a wide range of music. If pool tables or pull tabs are more your thing, we have you covered. Enjoy the fun and food at Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Stop on by today.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a good Wednesday to you. The news we've all been waiting for is whether former Mariner Edgar Martinez will be selected to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame today. He did not get in. Elected to this year's class, Chipper Jones, Jim Thome, Vladimir Guerrero, and Trevor Hoffman. Maybe next year for Edgar. It was a long day at Eastmont Lanes yesterday for the District 6 Bowling Championships. Let's go to the tape.
Like last week, the Wildcats and Panthers took no time to settle in Tuesday with much bigger stakes on the line. Alicia Hastings rolled a .216 while teammate Becca Maines bowled a .215 for Eastmont as the Wildcats compiled 931 pins to take the early lead. Wenatchee stayed right there, however, as the Panthers' Jessica Holbrook bowled a .200 and Hannah Johnson finished with a .199 to help Wenatchee to an .897. Kyla Hankins came out on fire in Game 2, bowling 7 strikes and only leaving the final ball in the 10th open for a tournament high 247 as Wenatchee closed the gap with a 920 to Eastmont's 894. Eastmont coach Christy Bingy had to make a lineup change for Game 3 and bring in Sky Wilson.
Yeah, I had a player that she just said, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And I said, okay, but go down and practice and come back because I'm going to need you back. And brought a sub in, and she did a good job.
Wilson delivered a team-high 191 as Eastmont finished with 798 pins to Wenatchee's 788 for just an 18-pin lead heading into the Bakers. Eastmont extended its lead to 28 pins after the first Baker, but then came the Panthers with a 191 in the second to close the gap to 5 pins. That's when Bingy said her girls really answered the call.
I just said, do your best, put everything out there, and we'll see what happens. I don't want them to worry about it because it puts a lot of pressure on them, and they don't need all that pressure. I'll hold it.
While Bingy held the pressure, her team held the lead, finishing with 3,856 pins, just 108 better than Wenatchee after 3 games and 7 Bakers. Eastmont Athletic Director Russ Waterman made the announcement.
Bowling champions for 2018, the Eastmont Wildcats.
We knew that we were undefeated, and being up there with our record isn't new for us. So we were just like, okay, this is our new goal this year: undefeated. And now that we're here, or that we were here, I think it really helped us actually stay loose, knowing what our goal was.
We were coming into districts with a target on our back, and
yes,
we made it through. We did it again.
Yeah, we made it as a team, and it was a team effort all the way, and I'm so proud of everyone.
All right, hold on. Come here. Too many cell phones. Oh my gosh, my phone's taking forever. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
There you go. Congratulations to the Eastmont girls. To the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard from yesterday, boys basketball, Omak bettered Cascade 64-50. Okanagan shut down Chelan 75-29. Mosley Lake Christian defeated Cascade Christian 55-45. Waterville Mansfield has found its offense. Downing Bridgeport 70-59. And Brewster bested Manson 54-45. On to the girls' side from last night. It was Okanagan getting past Chelan 48-43. Omak crushed Cascade 71-36. Moses Lake Christian down Cascade Christian by 20, 50-30. Waterville Mansfield girls continued to win with a 68-36 edge over Bridgeport, and Brewster down Manson by a final of 59-24. Coming up the rest of the week, we've got hockey night tomorrow night here on the NCW Life channel. Starts at 7 o'clock with Clarkie's Corner, and of course Call of the Wild with Art Checker and Bliss Littler. That'll be followed by that Wild game from last Friday night at the Town Toyota Center, so be sure and watch that tomorrow right here. That's sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCW Life channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. The tree fruit industry will be greatly impacted by reforms to U.S. immigration laws. Orchardists rely on foreign migrant workers to harvest their fruit, but recent labor shortages threaten the industry. Chelan County Commissioner Doug England, who also manages Manson Fruit Growers, said fixing the problem shouldn't be that hard.
Our feeling is that they're making it much more complicated than it needs to be. What most of our workers are looking for is something that will allow them to come into the country, be legal for a while. They're more than willing to pay the necessary taxes, but they would like the ability to go home to their families when they can and to be able to work back and forth. And they don't necessarily want all the services that they now can kind of illegally obtain, but they want the peace of mind knowing that they can do that. There is a program with H2A, but it is very complicated. Again, it makes it very difficult for the smaller grower to try to work through, and there are things that a warehouse can do, but it's not cheap, and it's driving the prices up. And there was about a probably 25% increase in the cost of each individual bin just this last year because of the confusion and the complications that were brought about by immigration issues. And most of the people we work with would just as soon take their money with them and go back to Mexico and be willing to, during the off season, and be willing to be with their extended family. They can't now because they can't risk coming across. They have documents. We're not allowed to question the legality of the documents to the extent that needs to be, but we find it very difficult at harvest time to try to come up with a crew that can get the job done.
Commissioner Keith Gaynor is a pear grower in the Dryden area. He feels the issue has become too politicized.
Because there are, individuals who they really do want to work and they want to be productive and they do provide a service. And, as Doug mentioned, if you have the proper procedures, we should be able to accommodate that. But it isn't just in the fruit industry. There's a lot of industries that benefit from, a workforce that doesn't necessarily want to just stay here. I mean, some of them do, and for those people, there needs to be some sort of need to be able to work through that. The H2C program seemed to be the way it was proposed seemed to allow for people to come to work and to go, and I think particularly with seasonal labor, that's really what you need.
England added that simplifying the guest worker process could also help serve as an alternative to U.S. foreign aid because the wages earned by migrant workers is sent directly to their families across the border. We'll be back in just a moment with the recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
For plumbing, heating, or cooling repair, Patriot will be right there.
Time to replace your home comfort system? This Lennox dealer can help.
If it's time to replace your old furnace or air conditioner, Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives free estimates. Call Patriot today.
Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling will give your home a hug.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington. We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Time now for a recap of some of our top stories. A Grant County judge sentenced a man to over 18 years in prison after the defendant pleads guilty to murdering Jill Sundberg of Quincy. 26-year-old Ambrosio and Mendez Villanueva was charged along with two other men in the kidnapping and shooting death of Sundberg. 40-year-old Gustavo Tapia Rodriguez and 26-year-old Julio Cesar Albaron Verona faced trial in April. The 31-year-old victim's body was found December 22nd off the Old Vantage Highway. She'd been kidnapped from her mobile home and shot several times after a reported argument with the three defendants. All three of those defendants were in the country illegally, and Superior Court Judge John Hotchkiss said Mendez Villanueva would face deportation at the end of his sentence. A Coulee City woman has been sentenced after she pleaded guilty to transferring methamphetamine to her infant son through breast milk, resulting in the boy's death. NCW Life's Steve Hare has that story.
34-year-old Heather Chapman pleaded guilty in Grant County Superior Court to child endangerment with a controlled substance. Chapman was sentenced to 90 days in jail under a first-time offender waiver of a standard sentence. Now, the Grant County Sheriff's Office began investigating Chapman back in May of 2016 after her one-month-old son went into cardiac arrest. The infant was pronounced dead at the hospital a few hours after he arrived. An autopsy later determined the boy's death to be accidental from acute methamphetamine intoxication. It was also reported that Chapman tested positive for meth and marijuana in a urine toxicology test when she was at the hospital to have the boy delivered. I'm Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Time now for your North Central Washington weather forecast. And before we get to the details of that forecast, let's take another peek outside our weather window. And it was a dark, gloomy day today, and kind of a wet one too, as we did see some snow in our early morning hours, which transitioned over to a misty rain throughout the day today, and even some sprinkles. As we take a look at our satellite loop, it's showing a mammoth Gulf of Alaska weather system that's moving through, directing a deep feed of subtropical moisture around its southwestern flank into Washington and Oregon. And you can see that big time on our satellite loop. You can see that moisture moving up around the area of low pressure. Tonight, a cold front will move across the Cascades and push across the forecast area west to east overnight for one last shot of significant precipitation at and immediately ahead of the front that will move through overnight. By early Thursday, most of the precip will be concentrated into extreme eastern Washington and the Idaho Panhandle. A mild and wet period will continue, though, on Friday night and into Saturday, as another large system brings possibly 1 to 3 inches of new snow to the Wenatchee Valley, with heavier amounts of snow expected in the mountain passes. Our atmospheric river of moisture continues on Saturday night through early next week, with a wintry mix of precipitation throughout the forecast period. Here's a look at your forecast now, and tonight we'll drop down to a very mild 30 degrees, still about a 50% chance that we could see some misty rain overnight. For Thursday, a 30% chance for a wintry mix, and 38 our high. Same goes for Friday, about a 30% chance of snow, 38 your high then, and then we go up to a 90% chance of snow on Friday night, and that will mean a 100% chance of snow on Saturday, and a little bit cooler by the weekend, 36 then, warming up to 42 on Sunday with another rain-snow mix possible by afternoon, and then just scattered showers on Monday, diminishing on Tuesday with highs early next week in the lower 40s. Well, we leave you tonight with video from the Washington State Department of Transportation, providing a time-lapse look at the construction of the lower roadway in the SR 99 tunnel in Seattle. Very interesting. And if you have a video of the day you'd like to see on NCW Life News, message us on our Facebook page at the NCW Life channel. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
Family means something in these parts. Family owned and operated means even more. At Rose Tractor, you're buying more than a product. You're buying years of knowledge through multiple generations. It means you can count on Rose for quality products, quality repairs, and folks who stand behind the products they sell. From your job site to your home to rentals and repairs to new outdoor power equipment, Rose Tractor is growing with you throughout the years. Rose Tractor, quality brands you can trust year after year.
Hi, my car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.